Welcome back to the Networking Spark. In this beautiful episode, I'm going to be interviewing Hina, someone I really personally connected with myself. Hina is an entrepreneur. She's gone through so much. She's a healer. She's really in touch with her energy, her intuition, and I'm super excited to bring this to you. Don't miss this episode. Hina, welcome to the Networking Spark podcast. Thank you so much for making the journey over here. I really appreciate you being here.
Oh, thank you.
So I hear you've met the Queen.
I've met the Queen. I used to supply products for the Queen.
Wow.
Yes.
What sort of products?
Natural products. So I'm really into natural products. After having an autoimmune disorder, I found that I couldn't use certain products with chemicals and things, and there wasn't enough at that time on the market. And I'd already known that I wanted a new healing product for one of my businesses elsewhere, an aftercare product. And I just thought, you know what, I just love natural products. I love animals. So I had natural products for humans, a few, and I actually had natural products for pets.
Wow.
So the Queen ordered products from us.
Amazing. How did that happen?
We sent some samples and she loved them. I phoned up and actually it was really interesting. The gentleman on the phone was explaining how it works.
I thought you were going to say you phoned the Queen then.
Oh gosh, yeah, I wish. That would be amazing, wouldn't it? I don't know the formal name, what the person's called, but it's someone who,
butler.
Obviously it's not the butler, but like that kind of thing. There's a system in place and they'll literally he said we literally drop the Queen a note with whatever it is, and then she takes it and that says yes or no, and that's it. And that was it. Yeah, so it was brilliant. Unfortunately, we didn't keep the contract going because I didn't have the right team at the time, but it was very interesting. Very interesting.
But so inspiring to know that you can send samples to the Queen.
Yeah, of course, to any of the royal, to anybody, absolutely anybody. Send samples, get your products out there.
Wow. And what led you to getting an MBE?
The MBE. So yes, I recently met Prince William, and that was pretty surreal actually, because I can be around celebrities and VIPs all the time, and I'm not fazed by it because they're absolutely lovely. But I was a little bit starstruck with Prince William. It's really funny. I haven't stopped reading his articles since. But he was so charming. I mean, gosh, the communication that I just found, his communication, it was on a different level. These guys are trained to just be able to make you feel completely relaxed, absolutely anybody, any level, any walks of life, and just make them feel amazing and be able to speak. His communications were amazing. But yes, that was actually just 2 weeks ago.
Wow.
It was just 2 weeks ago. I got the MBE a year ago.
Yes.
And I thought that, you go in to the palace. I thought I was going to Buckingham Palace to receive the award. And it doesn't work like that. It was a year later. So literally a year later,
Incredible.
Which was just 2 weeks ago. And it was at Windsor Castle, which was amazing.
Did you wear something nice?
I wore a pink dress.
Fabulous.
I wore a pink dress. The funny thing about the dress is I purchased it last year because I was all excited. And then when I went to try it on for, just to get ready for this date, the June, it didn't fit. So I've been on this diet for the last 4 months trying to get into this dress.
You're only tiny.
So, I know, but the dress was tiny. So it's like I needed to be tinier.
But bless you.
Yeah, no, it was an amazing experience. It was amazing. You go around the castle and it's so organized. I mean, gosh, every part of it, you walk a distance, there's somebody else there to welcome you. Congratulations. It's all really upbeat and really just high energy. And obviously everything's in gold. So the energy of gold, the frequency of gold is pretty phenomenal anyway. So everyone's just it's like this everywhere. And it's like, congratulations. Like, thank you. And that happens about 14 times. You go through these things 14 times until you actually then go up to Prince William.
Wow.
And you've got you've got a certain amount of time until you got the queue to walk on.
What did you say?
We talked about, firstly he said scar camouflage. So I was taken back by that because I didn't actually think he known what I was there for. Because he sees tons of people, but I've realised they just probably get a quick little notice when they give them an award. And he said, so scar camouflage. I said, yes, I got into scar camouflage from actually falling ill myself and having treatments myself, I was so blown away by it that I decided that I just had to do that for other people. And it was just my mission then to build confidence back into people, because at that time my confidence had plummeted. And that treatment for me, literally overnight, I remember speaking to somebody, a friend, the next day. I said, you know what? I'd only just started a mortgage company at that time after leaving Bloomberg. And I decided, you know what? No, that's what I want to do. That's what I want to do. So I retrained, did that. But he knew all that. So that was pretty amazing. And then he was asking me about that. And then I said, you know, like I've just said that I've worked with people for a very long time, building their confidence on the outside. And now I really want to work on the inside for well-being and just mental health. And he was like, oh my gosh, that's brilliant. He was like, that's so needed right now. And it's just so lovely. And then I said, you know, I hope to hope to have my own charity one day. And he goes, okay, and how will you go about that? And I just thought, okay, how will I go about that? I said, well, I used to be an ambassador and for quite a few charities and a patron. So I do know people around me who can support me and guide me. And then it was my cue to go.
Wow, that sounds incredible, Hina.
Yeah.
So tell us a little about your journey with networking. So you're talking about being an ambassador, and what have you done much networking in your life? Tell us about your experience.
Absolutely. I think it's not even just business networking. I think in life in general, you network, you socialize, you know, if you're not around people, you're going to network and find places to meet people. So for business, I just think it's fundamental. It's just so you have to network. So the funny thing is, I started my main business, about 17 years ago, Soul Cosmetics.
But Hina, you don't look old enough. Carry on, sorry.
Oh, bless. I feel it. No, and yeah, so the business, you know, did well. It's after an illness, I decided, as I said, to train into that. And I found that, okay, I'm going to start needing to network here. So I joined groups and networking groups, Ladies Chamber of Commerce, where I got to speak now and again and just join in and just really meet like-minded people or different businesses to get my name out there.
Let's come back to networking in a minute. Let's dive deep now. Let's learn a bit more about Hina. So it sounds like you've become successful after a big journey. Tell us about that, if you would.
It's an ongoing journey, I think. But certainly, yes. I had an abusive marriage, so I came out of that with 2 amazing children. So they're only 2 and 4 at that time, and I built up the courage to break it. Took a long time, but it's one of the hardest things. If anybody unfortunately is in that situation, you'll know it takes a lot. It takes an absolute lot to break it. But it was the end of the tether when I saw my son have his hands over his ears. I thought, no, that's it. I'm not doing any good by staying in this relationship at all. So I decided to leave. No financial support or anything. I was like, okay, all right, I've got a mortgage to pay. So I converted my home into HMO on the top. I lived on the bottom, and it was just me and my 2 sons. And then I soon realized that, okay, you know what, Hina, you're going to need to do something to earn 2 salaries, okay, to make this work. So then I started training. Believe it or not, I did IT engineering, and that's how I got into Bloomberg. It progressed from there, and then I decided I wanted to do my own thing. I started a mortgage consultancy for a very short period of time. I then fell ill. It was just it was autoimmune disorder. I actually suffered from alopecia at the time. It was after spending a lovely afternoon with my friend in the garden. Got sunburnt, hair started falling out. Wow. Eyebrows started falling out. My eyelashes started falling out. Thank God it's all back, and thank God for lash serums. But it did all sort of went white. So thank goodness also for L'Oreal for the amazing hair dyes.
And that was just from getting too much sun that triggered it.
Yeah, it triggered it. But in fairness, it was a trigger. It was probably underlying, and obviously the stress and everything, perhaps the build up from everything sure. had built up to that, and that just that was a trigger, and it just literally over 3 months just like dropped. It was everywhere, hair everywhere.
Stress is a killer, isn't it?
Stress is just the worst thing ever. It happens to everybody in anything, and it affects people in different ways, and the stresses are different for different people. So it's just understanding those stresses. But so the journey started from there really, and then I found a place to have some tattooing, some eyebrows put back on, and some eyeliner, which mimics eyelashes. And I was just blown away by that. I really was. At the time, the person who was doing it was a school as well. And she asked me, do you mind if I talk to this potential student, I suppose? I thought, no, fine, no problem, go ahead. She was talking away. I didn't think anything of it, but of course it was all going in my subconscious, wasn't it? And then later that day, I just kept thinking about it and kept thinking about how it made me feel. Just a very quick treatment from when my confidence had absolutely plummeted, from just raising it and boosting it like that over a treatment. I just thought, you know what, that's phenomenal. I want to do that for other people. And that was it. That was the start of that journey. I went to train from various people, became quite reputable in the industry. People would fly in to see me because I then specialised in medical scar camouflage. So that could be scars, burns, self-harmers, any type of scar really. It was just really helping people rebuild themselves, because even though it's on the external, it helps on the inside.
Yeah, it's all about confidence.
It's all about confidence. And then from then, the other ventures kind of just started.
Yeah, so tell us about those other ventures.
Yeah, so obviously the product business, and then I've got, and then you've got Ultimate Success, which is my baby at the moment. It's baby. It's 3 years in the 3 years in the making, part time.
It sounds good. What is it?
It's a coaching business, 1-to-1. I coach. I also public speak. So Jessie, you've been on some of my sound baths, so you know also I'm really into the frequency thing, the energy thing. So I'm an energy coach as well. So I'm now on a mission to speak to as many people as I can, and I really want to help people to be able to help themselves. Because one of the biggest things for me was when I was after I broke up in that marriage, I became very, what's the word? I became very not withdrawn. I became like a lioness to my children, and there's nothing that could come near us. But unfortunately, I wouldn't step out of it either, which of course then means that I wasn't open to help.
Which is damaging in a way.
Which is damaging. And the thing is, I could have progressed a lot longer. That went on for about 15 years, by the way.
Wow.
So me just trying to make it on my own. Even when I had investors interested in the product business, I was like, no. I just wouldn't open up. And then it's when I started to get mentors and help. And that's when things dramatically changed for me in the biggest way. And that's what I'm really going to advocate now, is that try and get mentors, try and get coaches, try and get people, just open up, ask for help. There's help out there. And it's really difficult though for people when they've gone through certain things, because firstly, you might feel a little bit embarrassed. You might feel you don't want to go there with that at all. You don't trust people anymore. And so it's really important to just get out there. Networking groups are the easiest way to do it, because you can be there. You don't have to be there. It's not, you can go to larger ones so that it's not so intimate that you have to be talking directly to people. It's funny, isn't it? I say that and now that's all I do. But
you might find your next mentor there, for instance. You might find your next client. You never know what doors open. And I think the most successful people have all got mentors, right? Or coaches.
100%. I have about 3 in different areas.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't be without it at all. Yeah, definitely. You can meet anything. You can, like you said, I've met people and then had contracts, you just go with an open mind, not having, of course you might have a goal, but it's amazing the kind of things that can just surface from networking groups, or you meet somebody who knows somebody, and it's about connections, finding those connections.
Do you prefer the structured networking or the relaxed, free-flow networking?
I think it depends on what my goal is and what I'm trying to achieve out of it. I like both. So like I just said earlier, the sound of your speed networking. I love things like that because that sounds fun.
Yeah, and it makes sure everybody in the room gets around to speak to everyone, but without, it creates a bit of fun as well, for sure.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Well, may I ask you more about your healing? So you run this amazing sound bath, which is free, which I just think is wonderful. You do it once a week online. What led you to become a healer?
I've always been told I'm a healer. Way back. And I've always felt frequencies, believe it or not, with electricity, and I've just felt it. I've always had it in me. And it was with a mentor 3 years ago who just pulled everything out of me. And then it was just came straight to it. So I'm very intuitive, can work with frequencies, feel vibes, and just can feel things and know things. And I just thought, you know what can I do? I've always been told, okay, you can do one-to-ones. I love doing one-to-ones. I absolutely love it. But it's not big enough, is it? If I need to be able to share and help people one-to-one, I'm not going to. Yeah, that's it. Exactly. It's one to many. So I thought, what can I do? And I thought, okay, I love music, sound baths. I used to do music, so sound baths. So I did a quick course in sound baths just to make sure I understood the instruments. But other than that, it's really feeling it with intuition. And that's when I started doing the sound baths. So last year I decided to do free sound baths via Zoom. So people, don't feel committed. There's no expense. Anybody can join from any walks of life, anybody who wants a bit of healing. And then during the sessions, I do like a bit of a guided meditation, helping people through clearing the chakras, clearing energy blocks that may be within them, that could be holding them back, moving forwards. And that's massive. Helping people just to realign themselves, rebuild themselves, and love themselves, most importantly. So yeah, that's been going on every single Wednesday. I beg your pardon, I missed one so far. That's it. But other than that, every single Wednesday, always be there,
which is wonderful. And you have a lot of people on there as well, which is great. You just said to me that you know things. Like you're intuitive, and I know things. Can you dive a bit deeper into that? What do you know?
So I can channel into energy, and then basically know frequency. So I can tell with my clients. Let's say I might be looking at their anxiety. I might be looking at some agreements they may have made. I won't go into it too deep. I'm going to keep it very light. They may have things within them that is holding them back, and I can tune into it and see it straight away. So this isn't at subconscious, conscious level. This is at DNA cellular level. And then I'll go ahead and just like scoop it up and clear it.
Okay. Wow. An agreement they make.
You may have agreements with you. Yeah. You may have made them even before you were born. So it depends on what backgrounds you're from and what you believe in. But certainly there's many religions that do recognize that you have agreements, that you have purpose. And there are some things that you may have made agreements thinking, oh, you know what, I'll just I won't really do it once I'm there. It's different. But you're held to it, and it's in your DNA. So you're tied to it. It's like a vow, and I can break those vows.
And can you pick up on people's energy immediately? So if you met somebody that perhaps wasn't such a nice person, would you instantly know?
Yeah, definitely. Now I can manage it. Before I actually knew this was within me, it would be a clash. So it could be, I'd be getting irritated by them, but not knowing, because I'm feeling what's deeper inside them. So I'd just be irritated and think, what's their problem? Or, what's their attitude? And then I would have an attitude back. But now I'm able to just kind of dial down and just get on with it, because as much as I'd like to say we always want to be around people with high frequency and lovely energy, we're not. Simple as that, isn't it? It's just life. So you've just got to know how to manage it in different situations.
And how do you know when someone's got high frequency?
I feel it. I feel it straight away.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll feel it.
I love it. And when
like you.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, you've got an amazing energy. Otherwise, I wouldn't be here.
Oh, thank you, Hina. Bless you. Well, snap. And a sparkle in your eye as well.
Oh.
When did you learn that you were intuitive? Is it from a child? Was it something that grew?
When I was a child, I used to now and again have feelings or premonitions or things, but I thought nothing of it. As most people who have these don't, you just try and block it out.
Yeah.
And then slowly it would be happening more, that I'd kind of know things, or even my sons have said, how did you know that? How did you know that? I'm like, no, what? I don't know. I mean, it still happens even now. I'll say things, or I'll say something to somebody and I just don't even realize why I've said it. And it's because I felt the energy. For instance, like a couple of weeks ago, I said to my son, oh, just, the traffic's, it's a bit crazy out there. Just be careful. It seems like people are driving a bit crazy at the moment. He'd just gone to his car. He was going up north. And within 3 minutes, a car was upside down outside our house.
Okay.
I was like, oh, God. And that freaks me out a little bit still. But I'm like, oh, God, I wish I could just know things a little bit more to help the situation. But it's not to be helped. It's what it is. Yeah. So I'm learning that it is what it is. And you've just, okay, I felt it. That's fine. That's it.
Do you want to create the opportunity to step away from your business so you can work on it rather than in it? Do you need some rest and restoring time so that you can take some time to look after your body, your health, and your mind and come back stronger and better and full of creative ideas? I'd love to invite you to come on a retreat with me where we have a regular yoga practice. We have some beautiful conversations, meditations, massage, all sorts of wellness practices to really create the best version of you and for you to rest and restore and come back stronger. So if you'd like to learn more, then reach out to me, send me a DM, or have a look at my website, yogitribe.com. That's YOGITRIBE.com, and look at the retreats on there.
End of.
Let it go. Yeah. Do you believe in law of attraction and manifesting?
100%. I mean, we all are what we, create around us, and our energies, our thoughts. I always say your thoughts are your prayers. That's the one thing I'll always say to my clients. Why are you thinking that? You're praying for that. If that's what you're thinking, that's what you get. It's actually really simple though as well, although it's not so simple because our minds, we have emotions, thoughts. It's difficult. Us human beings are so much more powerful than people actually realize. We are so powerful, but we only kind of have like that much. Like for the sake of the podcast, I've said what about not even 20% of our powers that show, and we live those powers because they've all been dampened down, hidden, fear, all these things that have just crushed us. So it's just finding ourselves again and being more aware. And I tell you what, people are opening up now more and more. People are awakening, and it's amazing. It's amazing seeing more light.
Yeah, it's almost like, yeah, as you say, like an awakening, like parts of the brain are being woken up, because they do say actually we only use a certain percentage of the brain, right? And there's the pineal gland, being opened up and stimulated causes all sorts of amazingness and intuition. So that's why I love to.
We all have that, you see. We actually all have that. It's not just something I have. We actually all have it. Obviously, some are more in tune than others or more intuitive than others, but it's something we all possess. We all possess those qualities and those gifts, let's say. I mean, I've got a chapter in my book called Dance of the Universe, and I've got a chapter written there about how my dogs taught me how to use energy. And that was something that really also brought it out of me, because they only use energy. They don't speak.
Yeah.
Everything is energy and frequency with them.
Yeah.
To understand animals, you only go in the language of frequency.
And they're always happy.
And they're always amazingly happy.
I think dogs are amazing teachers.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Definitely. So do I believe in law of attraction? 100%. Your thoughts are your prayers. So whatever you're thinking, change that quickly. If it's not high frequency, if it's not what you want to be in line with, you need to get it out of your head. How do you get it out of your head? Affirmations. People say affirmations don't work. No, a single affirmation isn't going to bring you everything. You're not going to be able to manifest or your whole success from an affirmation. But what it does, it's a tool. It's a tool to help you align your thoughts and your thinking and your manifesting in the direction of where you want it.
Yeah, to take the reins of your brain, right? And because it's, as you say, thinking, like, your thoughts are so important. So, and we as humans can naturally, I mean, we are wired to, look out for the danger, because of, where progression in life. So we're naturally wired like that. And a lot of people get anxiety, but the power is knowing that you can change that through your thoughts.
That's it.
Yeah.
It's not easy. I mean, it's difficult. It's really tough. And still to this day, I use affirmations. If I was running late, let's say, to be here at the studio, I guarantee you I'd be in an affirmation. So I'm not thinking about being late or the fear or the, it's not fear, but I don't like being late. I don't want to be late somewhere. I would go into an affirmation. Trust in divine, trust in divine, trust in divine, trust in divine. It'll work out. Don't worry. It's fine.
Yeah, exactly.
That's it.
Go with the flow.
Yeah, absolutely.
Tell us about your book.
Dance with the Universe was written about 8 years ago, and it goes through a lot of analogies. But I wrote it because firstly I wanted to express how I got through darker periods of my life to where I am now. I mean, I'm definitely not where I want to be, but I'm certainly on the right track, and definitely on my way to succeed in my goals. It's got lots of analogies: psychological abuse versus physical abuse. It's got a gourmet meal versus microwave meal. Are you going to wait long for something, or you just want it so snappy that you've cut it short and you have the half of the gift that you were meant to have? It just uses tons and tons of examples that I've used and have experienced through my journey from going from the dark to the light. And I'm still obviously on my way.
It's all about the journey, though.
It's all the journey. It's all the journey. Funny, I spoke to a book publisher recently, and I said, do you think I should rewrite that book? Because I said, it doesn't really align with me anymore. And she said, no, it doesn't align with you right now, but somebody else is at that stage where it does align. So I was like, she's like, no. And I just thought, oh my gosh, of course, it's not to align with me. It's a new book.
Yeah, I totally picked up that from you when I asked you the question, like saw it in your eyes. Maybe it's not, where you're at now, but you never know who you're going to help.
Yeah.
And that's why I think sharing hard stuff that you've been through is so important, and being an open book, and, all the hardships you've been through, by talking about them, you could really help and inspire someone.
Yeah, definitely. That's my goal. That's my 100% my goal, because it's like I said, the networking groups, all these things can help you rebuild your life, believe it or not. It's not just about building your business. You're rebuilding yourself. You get to speak to people who may not be so confident in speaking, let's say. You get to speak with lots of people. You're going to polish up your social skills or your speaking skills.
A lot of people don't like speaking to people. A lot of people are introverts, and a lot of people find networking really difficult, or it makes them have this ick feeling. So that's why I make a really big effort to make them easygoing and relaxed, because not everyone likes it, but as you say, there's so many benefits from it. When you relax and you get to know someone, it can just have the most incredible gifts. And it's getting through that barrier of like, I don't want to speak to them, I feel a bit icked. When you can learn to relax and get through that, then there's so many gifts that happen. Yeah. So you said that you're not where you want to be. Where do you want to be, Hina?
I really would love, like you said, one to many. I want to go global. And I really hope that later on this year or next year, I'll be able to open my own wellbeing organisation or charity and be able to just go out there and just speak to as many people, but on a global range. I'd say definitely I've got to speak to many. I've got to share.
Do you know what, you sent some samples to the Queen, so why not send some samples to Prince William? You've already spoken to him about that. You might get some backing there.
There you go.
I can see it happening. And I think it's incredible what you're doing, because you're doing things from the heart, you're doing things from your purpose and with your passion, and you're doing things to help others, which is just beautiful. So that's, if you were to look into the future in 5 years' time, you've got this big global charity. Anything else?
No, that's it for me. That's my goal. That's what I want to leave with that charity, and obviously my ultimate success, helping people individually. I'll always still help individuals because I love it, and it helps you learn about what's really going on out there and what people need. So it helps me to deliver my talks better.
Yeah. So imagine some of the listeners might be, there might be somebody going through what you went through before, and you feel trapped, and you don't, what did you feel then, and how do you feel now, and what sort of advice could you give somebody that might be going through that at the moment?
There's people from all walks of life, and I write that in my book as well, because you'd be amazed, whether it be in a palace, whether it be in a mansion, whether it be in a council house, wherever it is, people can be going through exactly the same thing, and you'll be shocked. So never, ever be embarrassed about what you've gone through. And in fact, you should be so proud of yourself if you're still here and living to tell the tale. Because to make it through, firstly, that's a massive achievement. Then I would say just try and seek help. And it doesn't mean you're weak. It means you want to go forwards from where you are right now. And it's like, if you want to be a brilliant baseball player, you're not going to just go out and do it by yourself. You're going to get a really good coach who knows what they're talking about and can guide you to get to where you want to be. And it's the same in life. So whether it's a life coach, counselor, therapist, even doing some yoga to try and just, just reconnect with yourself, whatever it is, just go out there and get help.
And I think often that's the hardest bit. A lot of people might not actually admit to needing help, or want to admit, or want to ask. And that can be the most difficult part.
100%. Yeah.
Was it for you?
I don't think it was. I think it was definitely to begin with. And then it was more about, I just didn't trust anybody. I didn't trust anybody. And there was, even when to give you an example, when my hair, so I have a clinic, like we do medical, and the one thing that all the team were always trained about is everybody should be made to feel comfortable when they walk in. You don't look at them, you don't ask them about anything, you just seat them, welcome them, and that's it. And it's just really smiling, that's it. No questions asked. I was in a hairdresser, and this is to give you an example. So obviously I said earlier, my hair went all white on the top. And then the lady the hairdresser shouted out to someone, make sure you get all the whites. I just wanted to fall under the table. And people might be listening thinking, well, there's nothing wrong with white hair. Absolutely. When you get them for a natural cause, it's so different. Like, I've got white hair on the sides. That's different from the one that was on the top. That was from my illness. So it was a little bit different and made me feel pretty insecure. And I didn't feel secure about, have it going out and about, let alone someone shouting it across her hairdressers and telling the whole world that she's got white hair, sort of thing.
And now, I think if that happened now, you wouldn't mind. You'd be
I
fine.
wouldn't.
Because you're strong. But back then, you were, in a vulnerable place.
Very vulnerable place. So it's just recognizing, for people who are also trying to help other people, try and just recognize. And especially if people haven't been there, that's the hardest thing, I think. If you haven't been there and you are in an area where you're helping to elevate these individuals, it's understanding what they're feeling at that time.
Yeah, absolutely. What, out of your experiences, because you've been through two really big ones there, which it might be difficult to compare, but which was the most painful?
Oh, that's a really good question. I think it's not the physical abuse, it's the psychological abuse that I suffered.
So you had physical abuse and psychological.
Yeah, it was the psychological abuse.
You had both at the same time.
I had both, and it's the psychological that's the worst, because it just takes so much to be around a narcissist who was very good at what they did, mind manipulation, and to seriously implant it all into me, for me to seriously believe these things were true about myself. It takes a lot to come out of that. I'd say that's the longest. That was hard. That was really hard. That took a long time for me to rebuild confidence. Actually, you know what? You're not the ugliest person in the world, and you're not the stupidest person in the world. It's and the ironic thing is, people meet me all the time. They think they can't put me with my personality to become that submissive person in abuse, but it happens. So that's the other thing from this as well, that people assume people are strong and they come across really confident in certain areas because they love other parts of their life, but that area of their life they became weak and vulnerable and submissive, which I did.
And not just that, you were a fairly new mum. You had a 2 and a 4-year-old, and when you become a mum, it becomes all about the children. And then if you're getting abuse at the same time, then that's a horrendous thing to go through.
The abuse was before the children. It's the physical abuse was before the children. That stopped after. It was the psychological abuse after. But I was also very young. I got married when I was 18. So that 18-year-old who thought she knew everything in life and argued with her parents that she was ready to, I was in love. Young and in love. And I was like, that's it. So there was lots of lessons to be learned through that. So I was vulnerable, naive. And then because a lot of people saw it as a fairy tale wedding and a fairy tale marriage, it was very difficult for me to say, well, actually, this is what's going on.
Were your parents happy with them at the time?
No.
So they saw through it.
They didn't like him. My sister they didn't like him. I was in love. I was headstrong girl, It's just crazy how you can be so headstrong, so confident, know what you want, and then it's like, boof, flat.
Yeah. And then you lose that trust with your heart, which is like so massive. Have you refound that trust with your heart?
Yeah. It's such a lovely thing. It's really amazing. I mean, things don't, everything in life isn't hunky-dory. It's how life is. It's full of obstacles. And yeah, but it's just about having that belief in yourself and trust. Trust is a massive word for me, I think. Believe and trust.
Yeah. And that also might come from your intuition.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's definitely developed through that, yeah.
Yeah, amazing. So you've gone through this huge journey, and I love to see that when someone's gone through some, come from really hard times to then going and getting an MBE, meeting, supplying to the Queen, meeting Prince William. And, you've got, would you say you've got multiple streams of income at the moment?
Yeah, I have. I mean, to be honest, it's something that I want to, break down a little bit, because it's tiring, and my focus is like, gosh, how many things can I do? And
how many plates can I spin at the same time?
Exactly. I mean, many people can, but they have great teams, amazing teams. I think the hardest thing for me is to build teams. It's just not. It's the hardest thing. It's just getting the right people who are honest and loyal.
To do with trust?
I'm pretty good with trust. It's just people literally out there to just break people's businesses. It's how it is, And then it's how much do you pay to get the right people? So it wasn't balancing out for me.
Finding a team is so incredibly important, isn't it? And if you don't find those right people, then it just does. The business can crumble, right?
That's it.
Yeah. So right now you're strong trying to do it all.
I'm strong trying to. I mean, I have a small team around me, don't get me wrong. Of course I've got people, and I contract out a lot now. That's what I do. I contract out an awful lot. But no, it's ultimate success that I really want to home in on. The clinic will still be there. Of course, I will probably have to get someone in to take over, but it'll be someone that I do probably a shareholder type of thing with, so that their natural passion and interest is in the business. I'm not interested in just a regular employee doing the work, unless, of course, I'm not knocking employees. Obviously, their passion's got to be there, and it's a little bit different. The type of work I do for the medical work is a little bit different. So it's going to be someone that I mentor, train, and say, right, here you go, do your work.
So ultimate success, is that one? Did you say it's 1-to-1 or 1-to-many?
Both. So it covers it covers success. I work with corporates, I work with individuals, I work with professionals, businesses. Businesses, so not so much now. I'm pulling away from that because I'm just covering different areas. But that's my main area.
Do you have an example of a client that you've really, really helped that you can shout about?
Okay, let's think about
Your
confidentiality.
most amazing client or the client journey?
Yeah, I think for me, one of the ones, somebody I'm speaking with at the moment, I have, what, the most amazing thing about it is that when I actually take pictures of them. If I'm doing Zooms, I take a picture of them as well. I screenshot. I say, we're going to look at that at the end, because the difference in the face and the energy in the feet, because you literally see it, they're glowing and they're bright. But this person I'm speaking with at the moment, it was a lot of self-sabotage. I won't say bullied, but again, made to believe that they weren't who they really are, taking away all their power, making them feel weak and not liking themselves. So they've then, gained weight, no motivation. Of course, motivation isn't everything. We know discipline is needed after motivation. So working with her for only 4 weeks, she's in a different place. And if I say to her, if I show you that picture, which I'm not going to show you, there's already a change. She's already lost weight. She's motivated. She's smiling. It's the whole phase. It's just amazing. She feels more confident. She's able to tackle things in a different way. Her approach to life is different. It's just, that's one of the biggest turnarounds I think I've seen in somebody.
Amazing. Living your purpose, doing that. Yeah. So how can people find out more about Ultimate Success?
Online, Instagram. The Instagram is Hina Solanki 1. Ultimate Success, of course, the website, or my email address, hs@hinasolanki.com,
which will all be on the show notes as well. So Hina, thank you so much for coming today.
Oh, it's my pleasure.
It's I never thought I was intuitive or felt energy, but I realised that I really do. I feel it from you right now. And I think the older I get, the more I feel it, I suppose, are the words. So it's been just wonderful sat here with you. The first time I met you, I felt it then. So it's, there is something going on with energy for sure. I do have one more question I wanted to ask you, actually, which is, so you're a successful entrepreneur with many streams of income, lots going on, lots of plates spinning, but you're also intuitive and you're also a healer and somebody that believes in the law of attraction and manifestation. So what would you say is more important, manifesting or taking action?
Both.
Yeah.
Both.
Simple answer, isn't it?
Yeah, both. You've got to. There's so many people that at the moment, you just need to look at Instagram and think, oh gosh, no, it's all about, they're saying meditate, do this affirmation, switch words. I do them all. I cover them all. They're all tools to get you to where you want to be. So use these tools, take action, create. People who don't like the word manifesting, by the way, it's the same as creating, manifesting. It's the same thing. So go ahead, go and create your life, go and create your dreams and take action.
Yeah. And dream first and then take action.
That's
right?
it. Keep dreaming. Never stop dreaming.
Love that. Hina, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Great to see you.
Namaste.
Namaste. Join a dynamic community of driven entrepreneurs, professionals, and industry leaders who are passionate about growth and like-minded individuals who inspire, support, and empower you to reach new heights. Expand your network and connect with a diverse range of professionals across various industries. Increase your visibility and showcase your expertise and services in a relaxed atmosphere. Learn from industry experts, attend workshops, and stay ahead of the thread. Build genuine connections that can lead to new clients, partnerships, and collaborations. Boost your confidence. Surround yourself with a supportive community that believes in your success. So don't miss out on this opportunity to ignite your business growth. Join Spark Business Networking to unlock endless possibilities for your entrepreneurial journey. Spark Business Networking, where connections ignite success.